And welcome back in. This segment of our program brought to you by Games and Things. When it comes to creating a man cave or an entertainment room in your home, Games and Things has exactly what you need. That's because they basically have everything. Home theater seating, pool tables, air hockey tables, shuffleboard tables, poker tables, pub tables, bar stools, you name it, they've got it. Games and Things, you can find their beautiful showroom, Lovell Road, Kingston Pike, or you can visit them online at ourgameroom.com. Games and Things. Okay. Guys, we brought this number up on our show a couple of weeks ago. More than 130 SEC players this offseason have already left their school to transfer. There are 70 more still in the portal. That is 200 kids in one offseason. Granted, you have people getting an extra year right now, although that's going to be the case for the next 4 or 5 years. These guys who are coming in, everybody gets this extra year. So that may skew with the numbers a little bit, but I don't anticipate this number dropping drastically moving forward. My question to you guys, again, let the kid have some power. Sounds good. But the concern is how many guys are going to stick it out when the going gets tough, and maybe if they don't, do they lose out? Because you look at a guy like Kyle Trask at Florida, rode the bench, and then all of a sudden he's getting drafted in the second round of the NFL draft because he waited and developed. If you guys had this, let's go back to your playing days. If you guys had a free transfer where I can get out of here and go somewhere else, would you have finished at Tennessee, Sterling?
Me, I would definitely push that portal my year I was being redshirted because I had some serious conflict issues with I was coached real hard, and I was live on the scout team. No quarterbacks I hit back then, but when I considered transferring, I talked to my mother, and she said, Sterling, you made a decision, and you're going to stick to it, because that's what we do. And that's how I stayed.
Would it have been different, though, if you think she would have had the same answer if it was a free pass?
My mother, yes.
Okay.
My mother, yes.
JJ, did you ever come close to thinking, if you had had this option, would you have thought about leaving at some point?
I don't think it's in my character. I committed to come here. I love my teammates. I played as a true freshman. I got injured my first game my true sophomore year, blew my knee completely out, didn't know if I was going to play anymore or not. I was frustrated beginning of the next year because the first couple weeks I was on a scout team. I was a starter, and they put me on a scout team with a bum knee still. I was frustrated, but I was determined to fight. I knew I could fight and get my job back, and that's just the way I am. So I don't think it would ever occur to me, or I would never make that decision. But I can kind of see kids are different now.
Yeah.
I mean, kids aren't like we used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of it. So they don't earn a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Before you ever got to UT, you'd have been told how great you were.
Yeah.
You should have been starting and everything else. Will, would you have ever considered it?
I mean, I think there had been times you would have considered it. I mean, there were times, and it had nothing to do with football. There were just other things going on in your life, your family, other issues that could have caused you to go, you know what, it's not about the team, it's not about football, but there's this other stuff, right, that no one knows about except me and whoever my circle is, and that might cause me to do certain decisions. So I think you have to say that if that was a realistic thing, at certain points in time in my career here, for whatever reason, most of them not football, there would have been things that would have pulled me to make a decision. I don't think I would have, but it would have definitely been of conversation to say, do I put this on the list of things to do, consider?
Right, a bigger conversation if you had a free out than it was when you didn't.
Right.
The other thing I wonder about with this is just how many kids every year, and now you guys all came from out of state, but you're seeing less and less in-state loyalty in recruiting now these days. I guess it's partially because every game's on television and you can move anywhere and be covered. But a lot of guys go somewhere and they talk about homesickness and they get homesick. Well, you stick through it. Most of these guys get through that. They stick it out. If you got a free pass to go, I wonder if you're going to have more people that simply leave after that freshman year where it's not home, I'm going. I just wonder. That's one that doesn't seem like a serious issue that this may really expose.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because the homesickness thing is real with college athletes. People forget that they're people and they're young people at the time they arrive. But what's amazing is the person that normally gets you over that homesickness situation is your position coach or the person that recruited you. But this is where that comes into play. That person that recruited you or your position coach, if they're not the same or the same, they may leave. So if they leave, now who do you have that connection with? A lot of, as fans and as alumni and people that have blood, sweat, and tears for this university, we have a certain love that young people don't get till they're older in the program. When coaches leave and that guy that recruited you leaves, that brought you to the program, made you fall in love with the program over all the other schools that may have recruited you. That's when I think the transfer portal is going to be used a lot.
And let me tell you, earning a spot and then when you're the guy are two different worlds.
Yes.
Right? Earning your spot and getting to become the starter is work and is hard and is not a lot of fun. When you're the guy, it's fun.
Right.
So, that there's a couple of years, your first year or two, it's a lot of just, putting your nose down, and it is no fun at times. Then you're the guy, it's a lot of fun. So you have to make it through those first couple of years, and that's the challenge of what happens to some of those guys when they run into that.
Yeah, and when you talk about a staff leaving and turnover like you've seen at UT, we've already seen 20-something kids from Tennessee already gone. Tennessee, I don't know if you guys have heard this stat we've talked about on the show. Tennessee has lost more people this offseason than Baylor did when it went through all of the Art Briles stuff in 2016, than Penn State did when the Joe Paterno stuff went down. More transfers from Tennessee. That's the kind of departure speed you've seen now that there is kind of an open door at the transfer portal.
But for every man's trash, it's another man's treasure. Somebody's going to learn how to use the transfer portal to their advantage, and we're going to look back and say, that guy is amazing at building his needs off that portal.
Well, I'm thinking we all right now. We'll
There you go.
We got coming, baby. I'm saying, baby, already.
A lot of people hoping that guy's name is Josh Heupel.
Yes, sir.
All right, when we come back, I want to spend the last half hour here talking about the 100th anniversary of Neyland Stadium this fall. 3 guys who ran through that T, 3 guys who played in that stadium. I want to hear their best memories, whether it's games, performances they witnessed, plays that they remember, just things they can't believe still. We'll discuss that. Come on back on the Sports Force.